Ken, let's try this sandwich and this pie. Ang sarap ba, Ken? Really good, right? You know, guys, what you're seeing right now is a scaled-down version of the Tuesday taste test, which happens when a vendor wants to apply and join the most popular food market in the country. And I am talking about Mercato Centrale. And we are honored to have in this episode of Decades LaSalle Season 2, no less than the founder himself, RJ Ledesma!
How are you, Idol Rico?
Oh
How are you? Good to finally see you again and again. Animo, LaSalle.
My goodness, ang sarap nitong pie na kinakain ko. So, wow, how does it feel like to be back on campus?
It's great. You know, the last time I was actually here, in this building didn't exist when I was here, was, I don't know if you remember the Amafi Awards. The Amafi Awards. So it became Amafi Awards, the Antonio Montemayor Anyevas Foundation Awards.
Oh my God, one of the most prestigious awards.
When you graduate grade school, and Brother Bernie, our president here at DLSU, was one of those who really is the spearheading, he pioneers the Amafi Awards. So the get-together was done over here in this building. It was very nice. It was a very nice affair.
Gosh, this was decades ago.
Decades ago. And they continue to have those awards. It's still very prestigious across all the different LaSalle schools. And then the last time I was here was particularly resonant for me because that was when they gave out the DLSU Distinguished Alumni Awards. And we received the award for entrepreneurship. And I remember I stood over there and giving the award, and I had the framed picture of my late dad, who's also a diehard Lasallian over there, because the reason I do Mercato Centrale was because it was his entrepreneurial spirit and drive which inspired me. So I said, you know, Dad is with me here right now, and I'm very happy to receive this award on behalf of my family.
So what inspired you, RJ, to start Mercato Centrale, which is so popular across the nation?
A really great question. So I often tell people is that, you know, as an entrepreneur, when you wear that entrepreneurial hat, you have this mindset. And in this mindset, you're always looking for new opportunities, new angles, different things. I often tell people in examples which I give during the pandemic, Rico, for example, if I wasn't wearing my entrepreneurial lens or glasses, and you take off your lens, you say, it's a very scary situation. There was social distancing, there was a lockdown, there was a disruption in the supply chain. But all of a sudden, if you wear your glasses, you don't see those problems. You see, what are the opportunities now present because of a social distancing? What are the opportunities present because of a lockdown? What are the opportunities present because of this disruption in the supply chain? And that's exactly what happened when me and my wife went on our honeymoon. We went to Florence, Italy, and we experienced the best that Italy had to offer. And we went to their Mercato Centrale, their Mercato Centrale. And we were saying, what a great experience where they make you try their food. And you know, it's not like a wet market. It's a market that you want to go to, and you get to showcase the local wares of people. And we were saying, how can we bring that experience or translate that experience back to the Philippines? And also, like yourself, I'm also a writer, journalist. I often get sent to different countries to write about them in media tours. And the first place they bring us to in Asia are the food markets in Taiwan, Shilin, in Singapore, Lau Pa Sat. So I said, why can't we do this in the Philippines where people have black holes for stomachs?
That's right.
People eat at different times.
Oh my God, we love food. And the great thing about this business that you have is you just don't have stalls of food entrepreneurs, but it is also a food incubator system.
That's right.
So you've added a new face, a new look as well. Is it pronounced as Mercato Centrale or Mercato Centrale?
Para mas padali sa Pilipinas, Mercato Centrale na lang. That's what I call it.
Italian way.
Yes. And then for me, why I like it to be a food incubator is that it's not only the idea that you're encouraging entrepreneurship, but it's something that we've all learned being LaSalle graduates, is that what are we giving back?
Yeah.
And we realize that many of the people who want to become entrepreneurs, sometimes they don't possess the skill sets that they need to grow the business, or sometimes they just need a little bit of hand-holding on the way. We're not just there to earn a quick buck. We're also there to say, how can we help you sustain? How can we help you grow the business? So we're there to mentor. We're there to help them. Let's say, for example, if they need help in financial housekeeping, operations, or sales, that's our job. So we actually created a Mercato Academy to support the growth of the Mercato food market.
And of course, there's a slew of food that you can sell.
That's right,
to
exactly.
the hungry tummies of our kababayans. Do you also guide them on, is this your expertise? Maybe you could focus on this kind of food, this kind of dish.
Exactly. So what we do is when we start off the market, they often come to us, and the input that we give them is based on years of running the market, telling them, maybe you've got to find out what is your signature dish, what is your heritage dish, what is authentic to you. Because we've had experiences where people come in and they take the current trend and think that that's what you put out.
That's what everybody does.
Yeah, but which is great. Then we tell them, okay, what makes it unique and authentic to you? But oftentimes I use the word, what is the pain point that you're trying to solve? What is that underserved opportunity that nobody can address, which you can address with your own set of skills that nobody can easily replicate? I call it the secret sauce.
And why do you have your taste testing on Tuesdays?
Well,
why has this become so popular among new vendors?
Well, the alliteration was nice. Taste test Tuesdays.
Okay.
But more importantly, also because it's a nice experience. TTT, exactly. Yeah. So, it's also, people learn, especially in the age of social media, people learn by viewing it online. So what happens is that, they explain their story. Because it's important nowadays when people eat food, and I'm sure many of the ones watching here right now, it's not just about eating the food, it's the story behind the food. Who are the founders, who are the owners, what went into the recipe, what sort of love went into that one. So that's one component, the storytelling. The other component is the mentoring. The mentoring is where, we can tell them, okay, this is what you can do. What are your price points? This price point might work in this type of market, but not this one. Then also their food. What's your portioning? What makes it unique? So those are the type of things that we can do in a sort of mentorship or incubatorship model.
But I'm sure, RJ, there's also a long list of food vendor wannabes who want to be part of Mercato Central. What is the process? And let's say out of 100 food vendor wannabes, how many do you choose and pick to be part of your food market?
We know the limit of a market in terms of how we can have enough vendors in one place so that they don't cannibalize each other. And we also sort of know at this point what are the type of vendor mix that we need to make a market work properly. So we're able to choose based on those parameters. So more or less we know, okay, this one belongs to, this one can fit the market, then we need this type of vendor. But at the same time, when we secure those vendors, we also try to find out, is there anybody who can bring in something unique to what we already know? So what's the unique twist that you can do? And that's what always makes it great. When a market's very vibrant, and it operates for a longer time, it starts to allow you to bring in more unique proposition to the market.
And how many food vendors do you have right now?
Well,
in Mercato Central?
Right now we might have about almost 200 plus
200
across the different markets.
Okay.
But over the years, we've done literally thousands of vendors who've come through the market.
From the hundreds and thousands, can you give us maybe 2 or 3 examples who started out as food vendors with Mercato Central and have now expanded their businesses?
Oh, sure, yeah. Well, for one of them, the one I'm very, very happy to talk about.
And that you're really proud of.
Yeah. Well, they're fellow Lasallians as well. They didn't start off with me, but they were able to use the incubation idea of the market to grow their concept. Is David and Crystal Season of Mama Luz. Okay. So Mama Luz, they had their branch in Parañaque. And when we were starting off the market, they were able to come in, experiment with their products. And eventually, they were able to come up with really some winning products. Now they've grown Mama Luz here very strongly here in all over Metro Manila in the NCR area. And he is a proud alumnus of DLSZ, Zobel, and of course of Taft over here. Another one which he also had, we're very proud of, is Time Mango. Time Mango became particularly popular during the pandemic, but they were also very well known as a staple in our former market in Bonifacio Global City. And she was a graduate of CSB. And yeah, and then when she came there, she has an OFW mom, and her dream was really to say, I want to bring my mom back here if my business is successful. And I know, she literally just used to take taxis just to come to the market, and then she had to, bring all her equipment. And now she's got she with her skill set, she made Time Mango very popular, and now she is about. She's got several stores all over.
It's not a mom and pop
business
anymore. That's really expanded.
And when I just go around sometimes, I just, it's funny. I go out to some markets. Sometimes I go, hey, you're from Mercato before. They go, or they come up to me, sir, we used to be in Mercato. I'm so happy to see you guys successful. So
A lot of success stories.
So that's what I like. I like seeing people, success upon success.
Where is Mercato Centrale
Oh.
now based? You have in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao.
Well, right-
Where is your expansion?
Right now, we're here in Metro Manila, and we're looking to collaborate with partners to expand further. What we're really looking for, and people are listening here right now, we're looking for good partners where we can collaborate in specific areas where there's great foot traffic, a lot of public transportation, a lot of people to feed on a regular basis. So that's what we're always looking for, new locations. But right now, we're very strong in the Bridgetown location. That's at the sort of like the borderline between Quezon City and Pasig. We also have in Acacia Estates in Taguig. We also have in Robinson's Antipolo. We have in Festival Mall. We also opened up recently in Sky Ranch. So there's several locations we have.
And that's what I really admire about you, RJ, and you're being an entrepreneur. You're not just in it to make money, but you want to make money for all your food vendors. You want to share the prosperity with all.
Yeah, and I think that comes over time with I guess it's the training that we got, Rico, that it's
From
always,
here,
from LaSalle. It's always like, I also have several other businesses, and the businesses which we always try to set up are, there's a pain point that we're trying to solve.
Yeah.
But at the same time, how are we helping the local economy? How are we helping create new jobs? Like I have one business which I put up called EnterPH. It helps foreign businesses set up shop here in the Philippines to leverage our very highly educated labor pool. But what is the objective eventually? It's to create more jobs here in the Philippines.
And that's what we need.
Exactly. And
Inclusive growth.
Inclusive growth.
Yeah.
I have another business called Easy Franchise. Easy Franchise is a consultancy group that helps businesses use franchising as the growth strategy. So we help assist them in creating and building their business to be franchise ready. But at the same time, we also help people who want to become franchisees, people who want to own franchises but can't run them because they're abroad, they're OFWs. We manage it for them. So this way, we're also doing some job creation at the same time. So that's how I see, my role as a entrepreneur and as a Christian businessman, that you're out there, not just to create profit, but to create jobs, to create inclusivity, to make more people, prosperous.
Wow, you wear many hats.
I would say just as many heads.
You're not only an entrepreneur, you're also a diplomat, right? You're a consul.
I'm a consul,
right?
that's right. That's
For how
right.
many countries?
Well, I'm the consul of Monaco to the Philippines.
Monaco, one of
That's
the
right, yeah.
richest cities in the world. I mean, that is my dream. That's on my bucket list, to go to Monaco and watch the F1.
Yeah, and in Monaco, if you actually go to Monaco and you walk around there, you'll actually find one of their chapels over there, I believe. And there you'll see the image of Saint John Baptist de La Salle in Monaco. So if you go there and you're Lasallian and you wanna show your school pride, look for the LaSalle statue.
We
over
are
there.
all proud to be part of the Saint John Baptist de La Salle educational system.
Exactly.
Not only that, you're a television host.
Just like you, because you're my idol.
You're an events host. And not only that, a columnist as well. And you know what? Fellow Lasallians, this man is also very holy. He serves as a Eucharistic minister and a lector commentator in church.
Yeah.
How do you mesh all of these responsibilities and still be here with us in Decades Asal?
Well, I have several clones in the house that I have ready. Clone 1, dito ka, clone 2, dito ka. But seriously,
Scheduling is so important.
Scheduling is important.
Time management.
So my calendar is pretty full. But I have to thank my Lasallian wife, Vanessa, who is also a consul. She's the consul naman of Montenegro to the Philippines.
Yes.
So
That's a European country,
European
Montenegro.
country. Yes, that's right. It's a beautiful country in Eastern Europe. So, because of her, I realized that my strength lies in business development, ideation, strategic management. So that's what I take. In our company, she takes the other role. She takes operations, finance, and that's where she built her strength. She did a master's in the school of our best friend in the Ateneo. She gained a really great skill set, and she's running the business here right now for me. And my other businesses, I have partners who are able to run those businesses. And for the hosting, of course, that's what I do. I do that myself. So that's what allows me to balance. But the most important one is to always give back. For those who don't know also, I want to let you know, I've known Rico Hison for many, many years.
Oh my goodness.
I was 8 years old. and I was an altar server, and he was our senior altar server.
Yes, we were serving in church.
So serving in church, and for many,
One of
many
my
years.
best altar servers. Always 10 minutes before the mass begins, he's always there, never late.
My mom made sure I was there on time. and over the years, Rico and I have continued to serve in our same church. So right now, we've transitioned from being altar servers to being lay ministers, Eucharistic ministers in church, and electors and commentators, because it's always great to be part of the community.
And I was taking a look at your course, RJ. You took up Bachelor of Science in Applied Economics and Business Management.
That's right. That's right.
And this has really come in so handy.
Yeah, exactly.
In your life and in your career.
Yeah. So actually, it's ComCom. It was a double degree under the College of Business and Economics, and that's because
that's so difficult.
And it was a very interesting course.
Was it a 4-year course, 5-year course?
It was a trimestral, so it was a
yes,
4-year course. And the reason I actually took it was because my dad was also a Lasallian, took Liacom when he was here in college. It's also green all the way. He saw the only campus he ever saw was this one over here.
You know, when RJ arrived, I thought he was going to be wearing a suit, which he's popularly known for, right? When I see him in public. But he was really wearing a green De La Salle shirt.
Ready now.
Loyal. Animo LaSalle.
Animo, really Animo. My house is all Animo. So my dad said, if you want to become a businessman, and he was entrepreneurial. So, he said, I was considering something like ComRC, saying, okay, it's great. You can either, you can be there or you can run the studio. So what did you do? And you're already involved in media in some form or another. For people who don't remember also as well, for those who grew up in my generation, I was the model for Royal True Orange at that time.
I was about to say that. This is what made you a superstar.
Yeah, that made me well known in the public consciousness over here in the Philippines. So I mean, that was, I guess, maybe at the peak of when we were doing that one. So he said, you're already involved there.
How young were you then?
I did Royal at 14, I remember.
Oh my gosh, you were still in high school?
I was in Green Hills. I was in LaSalle Green Hills. So Green Hills. And incidentally, all the people who played characters in the program were all from Green Hills. It just happened to be. It just happened to be that we were all from there.
LaSalle dominated.
Yeah, LaSalle dominated the cast. And so what happened was that, my dad said, you pursue this course. And I think it worked out very, very well. And I often tell people it was really just a stepping stone, but to have the fundamentals of business in my head was key because, like you said, throughout my career, it's moved from, I started off working for a multinational as a brand manager. Then after that, when I did my master's, came back, I went back to hosting, just like you, hosting, producing shows, conceptualizing shows. And then I did work as an editor-in-chief. Then I did work as a columnist for the Philippine Star. Then I worked for the family business. Then I became an entrepreneur. Then put up my own. So all those things come into play. In other words, nothing goes to waste. So college was a good way to enter into business. And then you just have to, be, I often say magaling diskarte ng Lasallista. So, you have to just be on your feet and have some street smarts to get into different businesses and understand how business moves.
But what was your life here in LaSalle? I mean, economics, business management, that entails a lot of math and accounting, right?
Yeah.
Were you just where did you hang out here?
Yeah. Well, okay. So where did I hang out? So there were two. Basically, the first hangout I had was
Are you a pebble washer?
No, I'm not a pebble washer. But then
same.
There was but I think I don't know if it's the SPS building because
were you the student council and the council
I was student council and in my first year I was a legislative representative for the College of Business.
Oh,
yeah, great job, Animo.
LC.
And after that was done, I moved on and I became I was part of the Lasallian. Ever since my first term here, I was part of the Lasallian because I like to write. So I would stay in the Lasallian office. And then after that one, and after that one, I was studying hard. And then near the field, the one of those benches over there near the field,
chess plaza,
the chess plaza, with my econ,
adjacent to the football field, which no longer exists.
Exactly, it no longer exists. So
we are now in the football field.
Exactly. Somewhere in this area over here where I used to go. So that's where with my blockmates. And then I was also very active in the De La Salle Debate Society. So we would use the SP. I would use one floor for writing. The other floor was for practicing debates because we were the first who sort of revived the De La Salle debating society, and we would be was competing in Singapore, in Malaysia.
My gosh, I
States.
see myself in RJ. I was also part of the debating society.
Exactly.
There you
Animo,
go.
Animo.
There you go.
So I did a lot of debating, and it served me well as somebody who does now event hosting and moderating and podcasting. What I learned a lot from debate has also gone into my creative writing. So that's nothing goes to waste, like I said.
My gosh, you even have a podcast, which I even failed to mention.
Yeah.
Maybe you can tell us about the podcast.
So the podcast is called the RJ Ledesma podcast, and it's because with the Go Negosyo, and I often with Joey, of course,
That's
another
right.
very proud Lasallian over here. I always moderate a lot of discussions for Go Negosyo and speak to a lot of really great entrepreneurs. And my wish always sometimes is that I don't have enough time in moderating with them to really deep dive into what turned them into entrepreneur, what are their success secrets, how can we replicate them, and what business opportunities do they see. So I said, let me create my own podcast where eventually we can delve into those issues. And that's what the RJ Ledesma podcast is all about. It's a business and entrepreneurship podcast where we can really listen and learn from all these people who are from top-notch business people and to up-and-coming entrepreneurs. Always something to learn from them.
My gosh, just listening to RJ, he looks like a very serious person, studying in the Lasallian, hanging out in the SPS just like myself, at the CSO and the student council. But did you ever party? Did you ever socialize?
Yeah, I did. And with my wife also as well, we do a lot of...
Were you the same batch?
My wife was... Oh, this is an interesting story. So I was doing a lot of debate at that time. And she was a cheerleader here in LaSalle. When she was during the time in LaSalle, she was a cheerleader, and she was actually like a pen shop model. So our paths would never cross during that time. But you know where I met her many years later, where we reconnected? In our parish, in our church, because she joined our single young adults in San Antonio.
That's the way to
that's the way to so she joined, and I was one of the facilitators, and sabi ko, then that's where we rekindled our relationship. Or actually, I never met her. That's the first time I met her. He said, "Oh, I know you." He told me. He said, "Yes, I know you too from LaSalle." So that's how things started off for us.
But I mean, being so active, not only academics, but also in extracurricular activities, did you really envision yourself to be who you are today?
You know what I often tell people?
Were you really driven?
Yeah. Well, I think I was driven and motivated towards success. I often tell people that, I didn't know what it would look like in the future, because sometimes I say, my 21-year-old self can never imagine what I'm soon to be golden this year. Diba? I can never imagine what I would be by this time.
Golden, yeah.
By 50. But what I'm here right now is nothing I could have ever imagined, and it's better than what I could have ever imagined. Right?
Are you really turning 50? I don't even see one strand of white hair.
Wala pa. Well-groomed yan. So I'm just saying now what I thought I would be is not there, but because God is good, and and you just rely on his will for you. I guess that's where you take it, because I remember I tell people this story that I actually went to the US to do my master's degree, and after I was done my master's degree, I thought I would live there for a couple of years, then come back here to the Philippines, and then work in the family business. But what happened was that when I graduated, it was 2001. It was 9/11. The U.S. economy wasn't doing well. All of a sudden 9/11 happened. I came back here, joined family business earlier than I thought. But from there, it opened up so many different avenues for me, and taught me to become an entrepreneur. So right now, it's truly amazing. I don't think it's just the skills that my parents gave me to move forward, and the support of my wife. I think I'm in a place where I never thought I would be, and I'm very happy to be where I am right now.
RJ, we all know about the rivalry between the Green Archers and the Blue Eagles. And my goodness, this guy is also an author, and I found this book.
Here you go.
In the library.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks.
It even has its own code.
Exactly.
Right? Blue Bubble Gang Green. I know the Blue Bubble are the cheerleaders.
Yes.
Right? Of Ateneo.
That's right.
And of course, your wife was also a cheerleader for
she was. And then for some time she did some law school classes in Ateneo at the same time. And she finished Masters of Entrepreneurship at Ateneo. So we're a good blend.
So I mean, I'm sure this was inspired by all maybe the parties where you see your either your Atenean enemies or your Atenean friends,
Yes, yes.
or in volleyball or in basketball.
Yeah. So let me tell you a bit about the story about when I wrote this book.
Oh.
So I have a column in the Philippines. I used to have a column in the Philippines Star called Pogi from a Parallel Universe. Wrote that for about 10 years. It was a humor column. It was a humor lifestyle column.
Yeah.
But during that time, they would have a lot of, that was the time when there was puro Ateneo LaSalle finals games. So, it inspired me to write the book. And every year, every season would happen and we would end up together. There was a season we won, so I wrote about that. There's a season we lost, and I wrote about that one. And that's what inspired me to develop that book, because I wanted to look back at the storied rivalry at the time. And so that a couple of
I
themes.
think the storied rivalry will be forever and ever.
And it's really great because I realized that as I look back, I found out, back in the 20s and the 30s, I got to look at that one. And I
there would be rumbles.
The rumbles, yeah. But I found actually the original rivalry that I think that I had family members on both sides of the fence who helped put together, friendlies at the time. So I read about the history and then after that one, the thing I also wanted to come to was a sort of reconciliation in the sense that, there's more that we can do together than we can do separately. Because like for myself, I'm very proud that I have a Jesuit priest for a first cousin. His name is Mark Lopez. And he went to Green Hills for grade school, high school, went to Ateneo for college, became a Jesuit, then became a Jesuit volunteer, eventually headed the organization, then eventually became a Jesuit priest.
I know a lot of students who have that combination,
Yes.
LaSalle Green Hills, high school, Ateneo College, or Ateneo High School, LaSalle Green Hills, or Taft for college.
And then I'm so proud of what they're doing. They're saying we need to look beyond these differences and then see what we can do together. And that's what I'm very happy to see. And I just want to tell something related to this one, is that when right now, Brother Armin Luistro is the superior of the whole, the whole.
Proud Pinoy from LaSalle.
That's exactly. And why I'm so happy about that one is because going back to the story about Mercato Centrale and everything, during my honeymoon with my wife, we went to Rome, Italy. And, I've always wanted to find out, that's where the headquarters is. Brother Jimmy Dalompines was a brother, LaSalle brother, who happened to be stationed there at the time. And he actually invited me to come to LaSalle there. And during my honeymoon, I had the whole tour. Of LaSalle over there. So I got to see, how our brothers, they actually have a 6-decade rosary. I got to see the relic of Saint LaSalle. I got to meet at the time the brother president of LaSalle. And now it's a Filipino.
I know. I mean, I'm sure just touring.
Yeah, it was.
You got goosebumps.
Exactly.
Right?
And I was just happy because this is the institution that educated my family over 3 generations. I'm always very proud that when I walk over here, I get to see, here's the picture of my lolo.
Yeah.
And here's the picture of my dad. So, that's why it's always such a pleasure to come over here and rekindle these memories for me.
So, I mean, 4 years here at De La Salle University, RJ, were there some challenges? I mean, we've been talking about the great times you've been here. I mean, debating society, Lasallian, student council. But were there also challenges that you experienced here on campus and even in the classroom?
Yeah, I mean, well, at the start, it's a bit of a challenge also for me as well because I came over here, then, you can't be, at that time, I couldn't be anonymous in the campus. So, syempre, some people were
That's right.
Some people.
You're royal through orange. Fame.
May good-natured ribbing, and may iba, ina-Alaska ka. So, it was a bit of a challenge at the time. And I remember when it happened to me when I started off, sabi ko, I joined ROTC, I became a Navy SEAL, so I wouldn't be bullied too much. I was doing ROTC. But, I had a challenge. Actually, I don't often share this story much, but then I actually failed my economics thesis because I don't think we put the correct work together. I think it was a miscommunication, but we tried to rebound from that one, and from there eventually we were nominated. I guess we were in the running for at least to get best thesis. So for me, parang I often tell people right now
story because in every failure is a success.
Exactly, and that's I think it laid the foundations for telling me also as well that there's always something to learn. Even for my kids, I try my best, even me, to say that to have the growth mindset that failure isn't ultimate. There's always something that you can pick up from that because all the great entrepreneurs I know, have failed in the past. It's not obvious, but they have. I always remember Joey Concepcion saying that he's never actually graduated from LaSalle. He missed out on the most important subjects, but they just made him march. So even if, that doesn't derail you. Just because you didn't have great grades, just because you didn't finish with the degree that you want, that doesn't measure you as a person. Nobody's gonna go to you at work in the future and say, hey. By the same token, they're going to say, hey, you were cum laude, therefore I should give you a promotion. They don't say that one. But the same way they say, you never finished college, or you didn't do a great job, but look how, you work hard and you're smart and you did what you want to do.
Great lessons, especially for our Lasallians who are watching us right now. You don't have to be a dean's lister, consistent dean's lister, to be successful
Although
in your career.
You can try. I mean, which is
try.
which is great, but that doesn't define you as a person.
That's right.
The achievements, and I always tell myself, I might, if you look at the resume paper, it looks good, right? But then there are so many people I'm still, I feel there's still a lot to learn. I feel that there's a lot I have to do, and I have to emulate better people than me. It just happened to be that along the way, I applied for this award, we got it.
Yeah.
I applied for this one, we got it. But,
and that's great, RJ, no? I mean, you're 50, I'm 57, and we still continue to go to school.
Yes,
we
yes,
still
exactly.
learn every day from the people around us, whether there are mentors or even younger than us.
Exactly.
Maybe even your daughter. I'm still learning from my own son,
yeah.
right?
And that's why I do my podcast, because the podcast allows me to learn almost like for free. It's free for me. And that's why probably you're doing the final word, because look, every night you get to learn new things from people.
From all my guests.
Yeah, exactly.
Learned a lot from you when you were my guest.
So that's how I feel about things. That's how I feel about things.
And now, RJ, we have a question from a student who wants to learn from a famous alumni. And here's that question.
Sure.
What business idea can you suggest to an up-and-coming business owner, especially after the pandemic? And basically, after the pandemic, what has changed the whole business landscape?
Well, I think that's a great question, because you got to look at people who became successful in the midst of the pandemic and saw the potential for business model to change. So, for example, we go back to the idea of what I talked about earlier on about the entrepreneurial pain point. What pain points are you trying to solve? What became popular during the pandemic, Rico, were issues with regard relating to health and well-being, right? So there are many people who eventually created really great products which were health-related, effervescent health tablets or health drinks. All these different products became popular, but that was just one aspect. They were also able to create really great digital content creatorship, and went on TikTok. And they're now making millions in TikTok because basically they were able to leverage understanding the audience nowadays and being able to create great personalities online. So I'm saying that there's different business opportunities depending on who you are. But if you are a business owner, it's just that you've got to be more sharp at identifying what are the pain points that you're seeing around you.
This digital platform, the pandemic, really unleashed a lot of creativity and innovation among our kababayan.
Exactly. So, but we just tell people, what I often tell people right now is that, you have to just literally create your opportunity. You have to go out there, and if people tell me, I don't have the capital to grow big, to make my business grow, well, that's great. Then we're all from the same starting point then, right? And there's a really great story I have from a podcast guest of mine, and who's also a fellow Lasallian. He's my batchmate actually here from Taft. His name is Steve C. of Great Deals E-commerce. I'm sure you know him. And Steve, you said he was in the red. He was indebted for about 40 million pesos one time. And, he said one of the best ways he could start off with a business that needed no capital was insurance, because of just a lot of, laway capital, going out there and talking to people, putting up his business. Eventually, he put up he had an accessory store, and then from accessory store, he started selling things online on Lazada. Then he realized, wow, the potential for this market to grow. Then eventually put up Great Deals E-commerce. That 40 million right now for him is just one purchase order of a client. So it's a matter of being like I said, it's that entrepreneurial spirit, and dapat bilang isang Lasallista, madiskarte ka, di ba? Create your own opportunities.
Great advice for up-and-coming entrepreneurs and would-be business people. Now we have a question, RJ, for you from a LaSalle scholar, and her name is Aubrey.
Great.
Let's listen to this.
Hi, Sir RJ. I'm Audrey, and I'm also an economics student just like you. I'm curious to know how economics has influenced your journey on becoming a successful entrepreneur today.
Oh, I really, really love that question, Rico, because what I gained from economics is not just the fundamental of how to think about the macro business environment, but also to see how can you discover opportunities. In other words, for example, you can see where's the economy going. Then you look at you look at the macro picture of okay, where do you how do you mean you can't remember you can't remember the specifics of the classes, but you
Yes.
understand more the fundamentals of where's the economy taking you. That's the macro, right? Eventually, the micro part is saying, let's deep dive into a specific industry and see what's happening here and how you can take things. So that's how I see how the economics degrees actually helped me, providing you great fundamentals to understand how business works, because it's applied economics I took.
That's right.
Then from there, try to deep dive in seeing, okay, what specific industry works or doesn't work for you, and seeing what you can apply from your skill set in that industry that you can make it grow.
But also on the flip side, RJ, if the economics don't work, the numbers are not there on a macro level. But if you take a look at the micro, you dive deep into certain kinds of businesses, you can still be successful. You can make money
Exactly.
despite a weak economic environment.
Exactly. So that's why, I often tell people the job of an entrepreneur is not an opinion columnist. You're not there to say whether a situation is good or bad economically. Your job as an entrepreneur is to discover opportunities in weak times and in good, and in good times, right? So that's your job. Sometimes people don't see the opportunity that you can spot, and that's exactly where you come in.
All right. Thank you so much, Aubrey, for your question. And I do hope RJ really answered your question. Thank you, LaSalle, for your continuous effort in supporting our scholars and our students through the program Lasallian Giving. And to our dear alumni who also want to leave a legacy and strengthen our Animo spirit, you can also support DLSU through its several projects and campaigns. We have our scholarship programs through the Lasallian Legacy Fund. We also have projects to support our athletes through the Sports Animo Fund. And we also give opportunities to students to harness their creativity through the Seats for the Arts Fund. You can also help build the faith of the Lasallian community by donating to the Santuario de la Salle, located on DLSU's Laguna campus. The Santuario de la Salle is the first sanctuary built in honor of our founder, St. John Baptist de la Salle. And for more info, you may email edwin.reyes@dlsu.edu.ph or advancement@dlsu.edu.ph.
Thanks so much,
Oh
Edwin.
my goodness.
Edwin's been such a great supporter ever since my high school
I know.
days. Oh.
You know what? He was my classmate.
Who's your classmate? Kaya pala. I can see now why we have a great host here
You know what?
at
You're
Decades.
50, I'm 57.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at Edwin, you know what? He has to be a guest here on Decades. He looks like he's 40-year-old.
Yeah, he's got
My
great preservatives.
goodness.
Great preservatives on Edwin. Yeah, I can see that.
All right. Here's another question for you. What is the most interesting or most ridiculous myth that you've heard about LaSalle or the Lasallian?
Well, before, diba, they used to say,
Not social.
no. They used to say, parang, yung mga Lasallista, very aloof, not attuned to the times, or hindi marunong makibagay sa mga tao because you're set apart. But I've met over the years that myth has been dispelled for me, where we see many of them going into public service, many of them going into things that you don't see. Like I said, why I like go negosyo is that it takes my charisma, or what I like to do, but transforms it into advocacy.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing that many people from LaSalle I know also do. They transform what they do into more than just doing what they do, but it becomes an advocacy, something where they say, I'll use my skill set, what was given to me, to improve the lives of others.
Have you also been told, RJ, many times that which school you're from and which batch you are from other schools?
Yeah.
Have you been told that?
Yeah,
I've been told that before.
Yeah,
I said, no, I am from LaSalle.
Yeah.
LaSalle Greenness and De La Salle University.
I often get that. And
because of what you have achieved.
Yes.
Right? Sometimes you want to be claimed by other schools.
Yeah, but for me, what I often say is like when people, I think, I've come to a certain I guess over the years where I've met people from all the schools in all different walks of life, you start coming not to middle ground, but rather to seeing, sometimes we all see each other through, like I said, there's entrepreneurial lens, but there's also a lens where we see people through what we believe when we start to believe in the stereotypes, the typecast of them. If you give yourself a chance to remove that one, they're also persons. They also might have seen you through the same lens. So you have to give everybody a chance to lower their barriers and to get to know each other much better. Because even in our own Eucharistic community, there are people from both campuses.
I know.
But when you lower your defenses and you start talking to them, we're all great people, and you all serve something.
We all serve God.
All serve something greater.
Yes,
That's how I see it.
And we are meant for others.
Oh, we're all meant for others, diba? So and that's what I see it. What they said. When I wrote that book, Blue Bubble Gangrene, I got to talk to both. In that book, I wrote an article fully of people who had both LaSalle and Ateneo backgrounds, and they said, I've gained so much from being both, and the idea is that we are, they live Jesus in our hearts because we're also meant for others. So, what a wonderful melding.
And RJ, lastly, complete the sentence.
Oh.
I am a Lasallian, of course I am.
Okay.
Right? But you have to say this. I am a Lasallian, of course
Yes,
I
got
am
it.
blank.
Okay. I am a Lasallian. Of course, I always carry with me my rosary in one pocket and my handkerchief in the other.
Always.
Always.
All right?
Always.
No, God is always with us.
Always
Even
with
our
us.
pockets is always
Always.
in our hearts.
Oh, and Rico, I just want to say that this is actually my dad's rosary, and he used to carry that he was a daily mass goer. He used to carry it
I know
every
your
goes.
dad,
Yeah.
and such a kind man,
And
kind heart.
he's a really great guy. And I
I'm sure
often
you miss him dearly.
miss him dearly, and I realized that Saint Joseph was, I think, unwittingly one of his patron saints because he was a good father, good provider, good husband, and eventually, up to the day that he passed, he always had his rosary with him. So sabi ko, this is something that is a gift from him. And I realize sometimes there's some things that there are generational issues. What he had was what my lolo had passed on to him as well. And when I look back, my lolo was one of the first graduates of the school. And so I'm so happy to see that, it's something that's getting passed on to me. And hopefully, it's something that through example, I get to also pass on to my children.
You know what, fellow Lasallians? I've been chatting with RJ for the last 40 minutes, but it didn't feel like there's just so much to talk about with RJ Ledesma, who is a columnist, author, entrepreneur, par excellence, host, diplomat, and of course, a man of God.
Thank you.
And
Thank
a
you, Rico.
servant of God. RJ, Animo.
Animo, thanks so
Thank
much,
you so
Rico.
much.
Thanks so much for having me, Rico.
Oh my God, I've learned so much from RJ. I mean, number one, he is so hardworking. He is creative. He's innovative. And I think what's very important, he even admitted to us that he failed in his economic subject. But look at him now. With failure always comes success. And kailangan talaga madiskarte sa buhay na ito.
Oh. And it would be remiss for me not to add,
Yeah.
I currently sit on the board of trustees of the College of St. Benilde, and Brother Dodo is doing such a great job over there building College of St. Benilde. We've got great, fantastic courses right now, really great alumni. The vision of Brother Andrew Gonzalez is really coming to fruition with him. And finally, I've come full circle. I'm also board of trustee now of our alma mater, LaSalle Green Hills. And Brother Dodo also, they're doing a great job. It's now co-ed. Eventually, we will be going International Baccalaureate in 2025.
IB.
We're going to be going IB over there. So, Animo LaSalle, really great job that's being done by our Christian brothers to bring LaSalle to the next generation.
Animo LaSalle.
Animo LaSalle.
Hail, hail, alma mater. Hail to the LaSalle.
Thanks so much, Rico.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Rico.
you.
Thank you.
RJ Ledesma.
Thank you.
This
Animo.
is Rico Hizon, your host for Decades LaSalle Season 2. Maraming salamat for joining us. Animo LaSalle.
Animo!
Buhay ang Lasallian.
Decades LaSalle would like to thank our sponsors.